If you're struggling with percolation brews like the V60, Kalita Wave, or South Indian filter, then we got your back. Today, we're going to be talking about the various scenarios you're likely to face and how to tackle them. Percolation brews are hard and demand a certain level of skill to really do justice to a given coffee. So we're going to break down the most common hurdles you're likely to face and how you can navigate them. Be it long drawdown times or just disappointing cups that you can't quite figure out, we got you covered. This should hopefully make what seems like a fairly steep learning curve a lot less intimidating. Let's get started. Okay, kicking things off with the basics. Under and over extraction. These should be fairly easy to pick out with a little bit of palate training. A hollow, watered down, and overly sour tasting brew is likely under extracted. And on the other hand, an overly bitter or astringent cup is likely over extracted. So here's a few ways to deal with this. Let's start with grind size. This is one of the best places to start tweaking when you're dialing in. The simple rule here would be to go finer if you're under extracted and go coarser if you're over extracted. The next parameter would be water temperature. Now, we highly recommend that you tweak grind size before you start playing with water temperature. And once you hit a wall, say going any finer clogs your brews or stalls them, then start tweaking and playing around with the water temperature. The rule here is go hotter if you're under and go cooler if you're over. The next one is agitation. Now, this can be achieved in various ways like stirring or pouring more aggressively. And the general rule here is to up the agitation if you're under extracted and tone it down if you're over extracted. The next one is blooming. Now, this is super important, so don't skimp on those blooms, especially with fresher coffees, because there's a lot of built up CO2, and when the hot water hits those grounds, then they expel quite rapidly and hinder with the extraction process. So if you don't bloom properly, then you are likely going to end up with an uneven or under extracted cup of coffee. The last one is preheating, and this is primarily to tackle under extraction. Brewers that are made of ceramic, glass, or metal tend to draw a lot of heat out of the brew water. So they benefit greatly from preheating before you brew. An easy way to do this is place the brewer on top of an open kettle and allow the steam to preheat it. Okay, let's move on to the next, slightly more complicated issue. We've all been there. You're brewing a V60 or a South Indian filter and things start out okay. You then finish the pour and you're eagerly waiting for the drawdown to complete, but there's no sign of that coffee bed. All you see is a murky pool of what looks like stagnant water, and you realize the filter is clogged. This can be deeply frustrating, but there are ways around it. Number one, reduce pour height. Pouring water onto a bed of coffee agitates it and aids in extraction. But one side effect of this agitation is fines migration. When the ground coffee is dispersed, the finer particles find their way down to the filter and start to clog the pores. If enough of these fines find their way down, then you're left with a stalled brew. Now, the more aggressively you pour, the more expedited the fines migration is. So a simple way to solve this would just be to pour slower. But most recipes require one to maintain a certain flow rate. So what you can do here is just drop the spout of the kettle closer to the coffee bed. This can drastically reduce agitation and prevent clogging. Number two, swirl or stir less aggressively. A lot of recipes call for swirling or stirring the coffee bed, and this greatly aids in extraction, but again has the side effect of fines migration. So if your brews are clogging, then try to tone down the swirling and stirring a notch or two, and you should start to see your drawdown times drop. If you're still having issues, then try to ditch them altogether and see if that works. Number 3, and this one might surprise you because the same technique works for immersion brews as we mentioned in our video, Brewing Without Any Equipment, linked up here. All you need to do is swirl that mouse pointer down and click on the subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit the bell icon too. This ensures that you never miss another video that we put out, and it also really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So if you haven't already subscribed, then we'd really appreciate it if you do. In this last scenario, you take a sip of a brew that sort of hit all the numbers and you expect it to taste a certain way, but it really doesn't. What you're greeted with instead is a drink that confoundingly tastes over and under extracted at the same time. It's weak and hollow with elevated sourness, but there's also bitterness and astringency. Welcome to the joyous world of channeling. Percolation brews are prone to channeling, where water finds parts of least resistance, over-extracting those areas while leaving the rest of the coffee under-extracted due to reduced contact time. Now, this is a tricky one, but here's a few ways of dealing with channeling. Number one, WDT, or the Weiss distribution technique. Now, if you've watched our video, The Art of Manual Espresso, linked up here, you'll know that we swear by this technique. It may not apply so much to the V60 or Kalita Wave, although feel free to give it a shot, but it does wonders fluffing up and distributing the grounds when brewing with something like a South Indian filter. This greatly reduces channeling and leads to a much more even and higher extraction. Number two, up the dose. Now, this one may sound too simple to be true, but think about it. The thinner the bed of coffee, the easier it's going to be for water to find a path of least resistance. A lot of people brew a 15-gram dose, and with flat bottom brewers like the Kalita Wave and the Stagg X, we've seen that doses of 22 to 26 grams work a lot better and there's a lot less channeling. Number three, swirls for the win. While swirling too aggressively can lead to clogging, in general, it does wonders to redistribute and level out the coffee bed, resulting in a lot less channeling and much more even extractions. So that's it for this one. We hope these tips and techniques help elevate your brewing game. Now, we'd like to hear from you in the comments below. Did you give one or more of these a try? How did you get on? And are you struggling with something that we didn't cover in this video? As always, a massive thank you to our amazing Patreon supporters. And thank you to our YouTube subscribers. We're so stoked to have reached the 5K milestone. Lastly, thank you so much for watching, and brew ARAMSE.